Welcome to BNEWS Weekly. I'm Phil Gallagher along with BNEWS Director Rich Hosford, BNEWS reporters Tad Stefanak, Robert Paris and John Vias, Peter Brown with the weather, and Jolie Atwood with the community calendar. Thank you for joining us. The polls are closed and the results from Burlington are in the 2020 state primary. There were three competitive races Burlington voters had to decide, two on the Democratic ballot and one on the Republican ballot. Perhaps the biggest race of the night was for the Senate seat currently held by longtime politician Ed Markey. He was challenged by Congressman Joseph Kennedy III. In Burlington, the incumbent won handily. Markey garnered 3,065 votes to Kennedy's 2,460. The state as a whole also went with Senator Markey. On the Republican side, there was also a contested primary for the Senate seat between scientist Shiva Ayyadurai and attorney Kevin O'Connor. In Burlington, Ayyadurai received 487 votes, but was beaten out by O'Connor, who received 732 votes. At the state level, O'Connor was also victorious and will face Markey in November. In the race for the 6th Congressional District, saw incumbent Seth Moulton facing challengers Jamie Belcito and Angus McQuilkin. Once again, the incumbent won the town with ease. Moulton received 4,149 votes, Belcito 791, and McQuilkin 403. The rest of the district voted similarly, and Moulton will face unchallenged Republican candidate John Paul Moran, an MIT Space Telescope scientist who describes himself as a lifelong entrepreneur and business owner. In total, 6,870, or 40.5% of Burlington residents cast ballots in the primary. There's a lot to consider when reopening schools during a pandemic, and the school department is working hard to address all potential issues. One consideration is the school building's HVAC systems, which were recently tested. BNEWS Director Rich Hosford files this report.
As the school department gets ready to welcome students back into classrooms, there are many things being taken into consideration to help to prevent the spread of COVID-19. Along with setting up student workspaces to be socially distanced, the department is also looking at the mechanical systems in the schools to ensure they are operational. One important system, discussed at a recent joint meeting between the Board of Health and the school committee, is the HVAC systems in the buildings. Director of Operations Bob Kuna came into the studio to explain why this is necessary.
We test the HVAC system for a couple of reasons. One, we do it every single year, obviously, so we can get the buildings open. The thing is we normally do that later on in the season. Our heating season doesn't normally start until late September, early October. In this particular case, because of the pandemic, we're looking to run these systems and provide fresh air into the classrooms. So the reason we jumped ahead of this was obviously to look at the systems to see that we could provide fresh air for the classrooms.
Checking the systems meant commissioning 2 different studies from outside organizations to ensure that the HVAC machines were operating at the necessary capacity. The results were mixed.
We had them come in and do startup tests on all of our machines and measure the machines right there as they sat. From those results, we did have some underperforming machines, and we had some machines that did not perform at all. We are taking that data now to go back and look at those machines again to get them in a performing state.
However, Kuna said having that information is valuable to address the issues moving forward.
I think we're in a pretty good spot. I think that if you just looked at the results from the train report last week, I think that you would think that there were a lot of classrooms that didn't meet standards. The fact that we have that data and we're going back into those rooms, we've already been able to hit 50 plus of those rooms in the past couple of days and get them in better working standards. Now again, that doesn't mean that they were not performing before. These are mechanical machines. They constantly need adjustments. Every year we have to do startups on them anyways. Like I said, it's just that the timing is different this year because we're looking to do this during the summer as opposed to after the school year starts.
Finally, Kuna said the department is committed to getting everything up and running before students come into the buildings.
What we've promised everybody is that we're going to work tirelessly to make sure that we have all of these machines functioning. There's some other ways that we can look to supplement air, whether it's in a classroom or in teaching spaces and so forth. But in places that we have a mechanical system that can bring in that fresh air, we definitely want to make sure it's running at its best shape.
From our studio at Burlington High School, I'm BNEWS Director Rich Hosford.
There are going to be a lot of business victims as a result of the pandemic, and Lord & Taylor, a nearly 200-year-old institution and an anchor store of the Burlington Mall, is one of them. It's closing its doors for good, reportedly due to a loss of sales associated with the pandemic. The company made the announcement last Thursday. In early August, the chain filed for Chapter 11 bankruptcy protection on Sunday, August 2nd. This came after a sale of the business last September to online clothing rental business La Tote for $100 million from the Hudson Bay Company. When the bankruptcy filing occurred, Lord & Taylor announced it had started liquidation sales at 19 of its 38 existing locations. At that time, the Burlington location was not one of those stores and thought to survive. Now, however, Lord & Taylor is holding liquidation sales at all of its stores and on its website. Lord & Taylor was originally founded in New York in 1824 by English-born entrepreneur Samuel Lord as a dry goods business selling products including hosiery, Mrs. Wear, and cashmere shawls, the business Wikipedia page says. Lord's wife's cousin, George Washington Taylor, joined in 1834 and the store got its name. The Burlington Food Pantry is underway on their annual volunteer celebration, this year being held virtually. BNEWS reporter John Vias went to a pre-taping and has this report.
The COVID-19 pandemic has affected many local events that are held annually in the town of Burlington. But like many local organizations, People Helping People is a group that stands strong and safe. A pre-recorded virtual award ceremony was held at the food pantry on Thursday, September 3rd, in appreciation of their dedicated volunteers and the hard work they've accomplished over the course of 2020.
In previous years, we have hosted a volunteer appreciation lunch where we have actually had our volunteers come in and we have served them lunch and we have had some different entertainment options. This year, in light of COVID, that was not possible to happen. But we wanted to make sure that, especially this year where our volunteers have worked so very hard and everything is turned upside down, we still wanted to make sure that we thank our volunteers and let everyone know that without you, we are nothing. We could not serve the community if it was not for our volunteers.
The volunteers of People Helping People and the co-coordinators together are one team, organizing fundraisers and collecting food and necessities for those who need them most. The local pantry depends on their volunteers, and not a year goes by where their hard work goes unrecognized.
By having this multitude of speakers come through, we could help people understand that their hard work is just one piece of a much larger picture that hopefully provides some safety net for families in need within our community.
And virtual ceremonies aren't the only common trend in 2020.
The virtual event on Friday night, September 11th, is just step one in our volunteer appreciation. It will be followed the following day, Saturday, September 12th, with a volunteer parade. And at the same time, as we're asking our volunteers to parade by us, our board of directors and Cheryl and myself will be here at the pantry waving and thanking you in person. But we're also asking the community to help contribute to the parade with a food drive. So we will be combining it with a drive-up food drive. So we're asking everyone to put food donations in their trunk. They pull up, pop their trunk, and then we will be happy to take your donations.
You can catch the full ceremony premiering on BCAT's public channel Friday, September 11th at 8 p.m. The ceremony will also live stream on BCAT's main Facebook page, same date, same time. The car parade will also be held the next day, Saturday, September 12th, starting on St. Mark's Road, and will go from 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. From the Burlington Food Pantry, this is John Vias for BNews Weekly.
I'm honored.
People Helping People in the Burlington Food Pantry have stepped up in their assistance to those in need during the pandemic and now are asking for some much needed support. Also on Saturday, September 12, People Helping People is hosting a socially distanced food drive to support the Burlington Food Pantry. The donation drive-through will be open from 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. at the food pantry, 10 St. Mark's Road. Anyone wishing to help is asked to put donations in your trunk to allow a contactless drop-off. Volunteers will remove donated items from your car. You can see a list of supplies that they need on our website at bcattv.org/bnews. Do you have any unused hazardous materials lying around your house? The Board of Health will be conducting their semi-annual Household Hazardous Waste Collection Day on Saturday, September 12 from 8:30 a.m. to noon at Francis Wyman Elementary School. This collection event is for Burlington residents only and provides an opportunity for proper disposal and recycling of household quantities of hazardous materials. Proof of residency will be required. Hazardous waste materials that will be accepted include full aerosol cans, automotive products, batteries, fluorescent light bulbs, glues and adhesives, hobby chemicals, mercury and mercury-containing products, oil-based paint, pesticides, pool chemicals, propane tanks, and thinners and solvents. Water-based paint will not be accepted. Yes, latex paint is water-based. Tires, radioactive materials, alkaline batteries, construction materials, medical sharps, and expired unwanted medications will not be accepted. However, there are shop kiosks available at the Burlington Fire and Police Departments. Oversized amounts, such as truck or dumpster loads of materials, will also not be accepted. This year, due to the pandemic, there are special instructions in place. They include not attending if you have any symptoms of the virus, wearing a face mask, staying in your vehicle, and placing materials in the back of your vehicle. Meet Ms. Burlington, aka Gabriel Simons, who takes it upon herself to help reopening Burlington businesses and restaurants using the social media platform Instagram. BNEWS reporter Tad Stefanak has this look.
Burlington restaurants and businesses have a new cheerleader with a thriving Instagram account, Miss.Burlington_MA. Miss Burlington MA is Gabrielle Simmons, who lives and works here in Burlington and couldn't be happier about Burlington reopening.
I was just like, I have to go to all my favorite spots. I gotta get to 3rd Ave, I gotta get over to my True North Coffee. And my fiance was like, you should post about these places that you're going to. Cause I mean, now working from home full time, I was like, why not? I have the time, I love Burlington. That's kind of how it came about. I honestly am such a people person. And I know even now with COVID, that probably sounds like, well, how do you still interact? But I just make the most of it. Even if it's just like thanking employees for doing their jobs. Like, I just really like to interact with people. And I think a lot of the businesses here are, like small owned. So I really try to support them and, let them know that they're doing a good job.
Gabrielle's Instagram has garnered over 400 followers since she launched it in July and has already partnered with Burlington businesses on promotional contests.
Before I started my first one, which was with Twist Bakery, I thought to myself, I need some kind of a following just to show them, okay, like I'm a legit account and, it is a lot of local people who would give their business to them. So when I decided on Twist, I said, okay, in my contest rules, I'm going to have everyone follow you as well as myself. So it kind of is like the give and take. And also I let them know I'd be happy to spend my own money and review their coffee, their food, whatever kind of service that they're providing. Just so it's more of like, not just give me a gift card. It's more, I want to help you out and I want to support you as well. Can we partner together?
Miss Burlington MA is getting the attention of Burlington businesses.
I met with both of the owners. They actually reached out to me, just thanking me for my account and what I've been doing to help local businesses around here. And they were fantastic. So they donated the gift card to me and yeah, it worked out perfectly. I just really, again, love Burlington. I love all the businesses here. I get super excited when I hear new ones coming or promotions going on, and I really just love to market it. I love meeting people. I think it's a great account for people to even interact with each other and get ideas of date nights or places to take friends, just anything like that.
Be sure to follow and like Miss Burlington MA on Instagram for things to do, places to eat, and details on her latest contest.
I just find a lot of joy in it, honestly.
From 3rd Ave, Burlington, I'm BNEWS reporter Tad Stefanak.
We may be in a pandemic, but that doesn't stop the Burlington Science Center from having the Cucumber Growing Challenge from students' homes and gardens. BNEWS reporter Robert Paris caught up with the Science Center's Wendy Pavlicek and has this report.
6 months have passed since the pandemic began back in March, and activities in schools are preparing for the 2020-2021 academic year. This week I spoke with Wendy Pavlicek about the Burlington Science Center's 2020 Cucumber Growing Challenge.
Every other year, the Science Center holds a growing contest for the K-5 students. And in a normal school year, we would send out little greenhouse kits to every classroom which includes a little coconut fiber pot with some soil and 2 seeds per student. And the teacher would do some intro lessons and discussions about plants and growing. And then each student would be able to plant their seeds within their little pot with soil. And then they go into a little kind of greenhouse kit within the classroom. And then they get to take those sprouted plants home when they are almost getting a little too big for their pots. And then they can plant them at home and participate throughout the spring and summer growing their plants, and then enter our contest, which usually wraps up sometime in the fall.
Students from K to 5 can participate.
So any K to 5 student from last year can participate. So that would include the 1st through 6th grades this year. And if someone had grown their own cucumbers in town, that would be fine too. They just need to get an entry form, which is available on our website, and it has a Google Link document to all the information about the contest.
The contest gives students a chance to engage in the environment from their own home.
These contests really do involve family engagement, whether it's just the family within the house or even grandparents that are very avid growers about the environment. And it connects the concepts and practices of what real scientists and people do in the world as far as agriculture and growing.
I'm Robert Paris for BNEWS Weekly.
A recent Burlington graduate has been honored by a national organization of educators. The National Coalition for Educational and Cultural Programs, Incorporated, has granted Burlington High School graduate Bridget Concession their annual Future Teacher Award. The Future Teacher Award is presented to a student pursuing a career in education. Bridget is attending Framingham State University this fall and is majoring in early childhood education. Bridget said she was honored to receive this award because teaching means so much to her, and she has always wanted to be a teacher to impact the lives of my students. The organization is dedicated to improving the quality of care for children and seeks to offer affordable, quality programs focused on early childhood topics for daycare providers, educators, and families. Bridget said she plans on teaching kindergarten after she graduates from college. Burlington Parks and Recreation Program Coordinator Kelly Lehman spoke with BCAT reporter Robert Paris about the upcoming 2020 fall brochure for this week's Parks and Rec update. Let's have a look.
September has arrived in the Commonwealth. This week I spoke with Program Coordinator Kelly Lehman for another Burlington Parks and Recreation COVID-19 update. One of the biggest questions now is the 2020 fall programs.
We are working right now on the fall brochure, finalizing all sorts of programs, both virtual and in-person programs for people of all abilities and all ages. We should have a fall brochure out on our social media pages and website by the end of this week, with registrations starting within the coming week or so.
The department is coming up with new ways for people to join in on the fun this fall.
There'll be a variety of virtual options for you to partake in, but we're also going to hold some in-person special events and programs while still abiding by all of the guidance provided by the governor. So we're excited to see the community kind of react to our offerings.
I'm Robert Paris for BNEWS Weekly.
And Peter Brown for a look at this week's forecast. We'll also check out the community calendar with Jolie Atwood to see what's happening in Burlington.
Hello everyone, this is Peter Brown with a look at your weather for the next 7 days. I know it's hard to believe that we are into the first full week of September with Labor Day just a few days away. And even though meteorological fall has begun, we still officially have about 3 weeks of summer to go, and we're going to have some gorgeous late summer weather out there, especially as we get through all of the days of the Labor Day weekend. Now, starting out with a look at our almanac for the beginning of September, around September 3rd, we see average highs in the upper 70s to around 80, and we're going to be actually a little bit warmer than that on Thursday and Friday. It's going to feel much more like the beginning of August, so a little bit warm and kind of humid out there. And as we round out the period getting towards September 9th, I know that's really crazy to think that we're looking almost towards the middle of September. Our temperatures, as you notice, continue to fall as we head towards autumn. Temperatures at this time of the year should only be in the mid-70s, maybe in the upper 70s once in a while, and that's pretty much where we're going to be. And of course, the biggest thing that you notice is the days keep getting shorter, and that's a sure sign that we are heading towards autumn. Now, as we go ahead, let's take a look at what the Climate Prediction Center is calling for us here in the Burlington area and the rest of New England in terms of temps and precipitation. And looking at our temperature map, looks like nothing new. Looks like we're expecting a chance of at or just slightly above average temperatures here in the Burlington area and the rest of New England. And that's going to be certainly reflected when we see the 7-day forecast in a little bit. Temperatures again starting out Thursday and Friday way up in the 80s, so definitely a real summer feel to the air. Now, as we go ahead, let's take a look at what we're expecting in terms of precipitation. This is, again, if you're really out there trying to take care of your garden, take care of your lawn. Looks like Mother Nature is going to provide a little bit of help this upcoming week again. Looks like we'll have a chance of above average precipitation, so that's great news. We got a good bit of relief from the drought this past Saturday with the remains of Hurricane Laura. I mean, nothing to put a huge dent in it, but definitely got us a chance to get those plants and flowers and a little bit wet, so that's great news. As we go ahead, let's take a look at some of that great weather that we're expecting for the next 7 days. And again, starting out our period on Thursday and Friday, a little bit warm and humid and unsettled out there. So we're going to see the chance of maybe some showers and thunderstorms on Thursday. Again, temperatures way up in the mid-80s. But look at this starting on Friday, going right through Monday. Temperatures beautiful in the mid and upper 70s, dry, cool nights, so very comfortable for sleeping, but just great weather to get out there for the Labor Day weekend. And again, as I mentioned, rounding out our period on Tuesday and Wednesday, looks like we're going to see the chance of maybe some more showers coming into the area, a little bit more humid air, but again, nothing really too hot, fairly pleasant for this time of the year. So everyone, get out there, have a happy Labor Day weekend, and enjoy the weather.
Everyone, I'm Jolie Atwood, and this is your community calendar. It is time to party. On Wednesday, September 9th at 11 a.m., the Burlington Public Library will be having a virtual preschool dance party. Pre-registration is required. To sign up, go to burlington.org, and for more info, call 781-270-1690. Check out the artwork of local artists. On Saturday, September 12th from 8 a.m. to 6 p.m., Wayside Shopping Center will be having their inaugural Chalk Art Festival. Everyone is welcome and the event is free. For more information, go to shopwayside.com. Come and get rid of a variety of your household items. Also on Saturday, September 12th from 8:30 a.m. to noon, the Burlington Board of Health will have the annual Household Hazardous Waste Day held at the Francis Wyman Elementary School. For a list of items, go to burlington.org under the Board of Health page. I'm Jolie Atwood, and that was your community calendar.
Burlington History Uncovered is a collaboration between BNEWS and the Burlington Historical Society to highlight oft-overlooked pieces of history in town and tell their stories. In this piece, we look at the collection of Dunlap tools the Society has in the Burlington History Museum. Let's check it out.
Recently, a number of artifacts were donated to the town. And what we typically do is we bring them down into the basement and we sort through them, catalog them, put them in with other items. This particular screwdriver doesn't look very old. So you would say, well, what's that doing in the Historical Museum? Well, it was manufactured in the 1950s. And it was manufactured under the Dunlap name. Now, Dunlap was the low-end tool offered by Sears Roebuck and Company. They sold the Craftsman line, and then they sold the Dunlap line. This competed with Stanley's Handyman line of tools. What's significant to us about this tool is that we have a collection of Dunlap tools that have been donated over the years, and we put them in a toolbox, and that's where this tool is going to go. You can see this collection of Dunlap tools at the Historical Museum.
Another week, another photo to highlight. This week's photo actually is one of mine and shows the beauty of nature up close. It features the pistil, very close-up, of a hibiscus flower. A pistil is the pollen-producing organ of a flower and is an important part of producing new plants. We'd like to see your photos. They could be of your summer activities, a family trip, or friends and family and just everyday moments. Whatever you think is interesting and want to share, particularly since somebody will be getting together this Labor Day, which we want to wish you a safe and happy one. Email your photos to bcat@bcattv.org with the subject line Photo of the Week. Okay, that's it from the news desk here at BNews Weekly. I'm Phil Gallagher, along with BNews Director Rich Hosford, BNews reporters Tad Stefanak, Robert Paris, and John Vias, Peter Brown with the weather, and Jolie Atwood with the community calendar. Thank you for joining us.